So hi guys, and welcome to class number 3 out of 4. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how you're going to accelerate through some of your biggest challenges, and what you can do to change your business model now, given the pandemic that's been going on. We're going to, as always, we have tons of free resources for you to use to help you make that happen. And something I read this morning that was interesting, I didn't read the whole article, but it was about how in today's unemployment, there are 40 million people in the United States that have applied or filed for unemployment insurance. 40 million.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, you saw that? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And the other thing with the SBA, according to the SBA rather, is that there are 30.2 million small businesses, and that 99.9% of the economy is because of you. So it obviously behooves the United States and us, and certainly Long Island, to get you back in business and employing people if you can, and and so on.
How do we move you forward faster, or help you move forward faster? How do we do that without telling you, oh, you've got to work harder, but do that by really kind of getting rid of obstacles, lowering friction, and helping you get help, basically, or encouraging you to get help. If you look for 5 ways to overcome obstacles, which is a great way to look for, tips on anything. I think 10 ways is too much. 5 ways is kind of a good number. So here are 5 ways that we've kind of called. One of the ideas is to say, we think we have to overcome obstacles. It's kind of built into the language. But in fact, you might want to not overcome them, which is often hard, laborious, heavy lift. You might want to go around them or under them. You might want to try to avoid them. You try to do something entirely different. So look for a solution that's really kind of avoiding the obstacle rather than trying to get over it. Keep breaking. Another one is to keep breaking the obstacle down into small pieces. So you're not looking at it as a big rock in the middle of the big boulder in the middle of the road, but you find a way to kind of break it up into small pieces so it's easier to do it. Look at some way to shift your routine so that the way what you do day to day helps you get around that, or helps you deal with it in a more streamlined way. Put on another hat. This is kind of important. Kind of get another perspective, or draft an outsider to look at your challenge. And that's, of course, part of what we're trying to do now, is to help you with getting another perspective. And then always, and as I said, this is one of my challenges, focus, focus, focus. That, overcoming obstacles is a lot about your focus, shifting your focus. Next slide, Philip. This is some things that we're going to talk about more about this in session 4, the next session, is some of the ways that people looked at in a startup to sort of, and this is kind of a restart up is what we call this, right? You're starting up a new business or a new focus within your business. The startup has there's a bunch of techniques for ways of thinking that address, getting around obstacles. One of them is the minimum viable product. You might have heard of that. What can you try that's as cheap as possible? It still gives you the experience, or gives the customer the value, but it's lower cost, so you can try it out before you before you have to invest too much. Part of this is failing fast. Try something, don't invest too much. Try to how can I try something quickly that fails quickly. Failing will tell you that doesn't work. Ray actually shared some things that they tried, and didn't work, but they may try again in the future, when, if things change or they have a new way to make it work. So not being afraid to fail, I think, helps with overcoming obstacles. And then this is sort of the agile process, which is build, measure, learn, experiment in small batches, keep track of the results. So don't lose that. Don't forget what those results were. Did you sell more or less of something new that you tried? refine it, and try again. So, so these are some of the techniques that people have found around startups and new ideas that could be applicable to your restartup idea. So this is something we've developed, we call the Shift Canvas, and it really is kind of taking the different pieces of your business model and kind of one by one, area by area, and saying, okay, what was the pre-shift version of it, and then what's the post-shift version of it? And the idea would be that, you know, we distribute this as homework, and you guys would look at this, and you don't necessarily have to fill it out kind of, you know, kind of detail by detail, but the idea is that it sort of makes you look at what's changed, you know, is the change in the product or service that you're selling? Is the change in how you make it or provide it? Is a change in the staff who you need to do to work with? Is a change in customers who you sell to? Is a change with how you deliver the product or service, how you market it, what income you're making, what partners you have? And then you want to look at what is the core value that you're providing your customer. Core value, not just the product or service, but what's the value behind the product or service pre-shift, and what, you know, post-shift. And again, this is post-shift means that particular new thing or new focus or new balance, you know, that you're looking at.